President Loren Johnson.
President.
Vice President Sharon Council Harris.
She's on the phone.
She's present by way of,
No, we need to hear her.
thank you. Can you say present, please? Say present. Thank you.
Who is that?
Councilor Talia Jones Waters.
Present.
Councilor Carlette Brooks. Councilor Nicole Beebe.
Present.
Thank you. Councilor Leanna Roadcloud.
Here.
Thank you. Councilor Toya Monroe.
Present.
Thank you. Finance Director, Mr. Nafis Nichols.
Present.
Mr. Chris Boggs.
Present.
And Mr. Joe Pacuso.
Present.
Madam President, all accounted for except one absence, Ms. Carlette Brooks.
And the tax collector?
All same.
She's sick.
Okay. Okay, thank you. At this time, we would like to do the swearing in of all new police officers of Yeadon Borough Police Department. Could you please come forward?
Before you come forward, I would just like to say a few words concerning the candidates. Yeah, you can come forward and just stand up front first before we go through the ceremony in earnest. We have 3 officers that are being sworn in. A 4th took a position in another municipality, so instead of the 4, we do have 3, which I did state to the public and council as a possibility because of the extreme shortage of officers all the way around there and great demand. So we have 3 this evening, as well as a promotion of Officer Nicholas Tokenit. So we have Daniel Pettijohn, Justin O'Donnell, Dalton, is it Menishian? Meneason, thank you. Meneason and Officer Tokenitz. Just saying, I just want to give a little summation of their background. Daniel Pettijohn is currently a part-time police officer in Yeadon. She has 4.5 years of law enforcement experience. She's worked at the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, the University of Pennsylvania Police Department, and other emergency management and law enforcement entities. Danielle is a recent graduate who attained her master's degree in Homeland Security and Emergency Service Management with a dual certificate program in forensic psychology. Justin O'Donnell is from Clifton Heights. He went to Upper Darby High, where he wrestled, played football and baseball, graduated in 2018. He attended Wesley College in Dover, Delaware, furthering his education in criminal justice. He's a graduate of the Delaware County Police Academy in June of 2023. Comes from a family of law enforcement officers. His father and 2 older brothers are police officers in Delco Sector 4. And he's looking forward to getting started with the Yeadon Police Department and our community. Dalton is from Woolwich, New Jersey. He was captain of the Kings Way Regional High School football team. Went on to play college football at Albright College in Reading. He graduated from Delaware County Community College in December of 2022. Was hired part-time by the Upland Borough Police Department, and he's honored to have been hired by the Yeadon Police Department. Officer Tokenitz was born and raised right here in East Lansdowne, graduated from Monsignor Bonner in 2004 as an associate's degree in administration of justice from Delaware County Community College. He has more than 13 years of law enforcement experience, including 10 years in Yeadon Borough. and he currently serves as a county detective on child abuse and exploration task force, as well as the county crash construction team. And Officer, soon-to-be Sergeant Tokenis, is looking forward to continuing his stellar, and he's a stellar officer with the Yeadon Police Department as a supervisor. And how I'll do this, we'll do it in that order, and the order that it comes is in seniority. The first seniority is Daniel Pettijohn is already an incumbent on the police force in that she's a part-timer. So that's the first. People ask, do we do things fair? Yes, we do. People always ask me that. My life is dedicated to fairness. You might not agree with me all the time, but I try to do things as fair as we can. So that's the first order of differentiation. She's already here and serving. And then it's by test scores. Then we'll have Justin O'Donnell, Dalton, and then, of course, Officer Tokenis also got promoted. It was very, very close by test scores. So things are done fairly and equally and above board under my watch. At this time, we'll ask, and how we'll do this, each officer will come forward with their family. They'll meet me and the borough president here. You'll have somebody designate someone to hold the Bible for you. You'll place the left hand, your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand as I swear you in. That's the order of protocol for the swearing in. So we'll first have Officer Daniel Pettijohn. Yes, and the chief of police also. Well, you can stand right now. Yeah. And you'll place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Daniel Pettijohn,
I, Danielle Pettijohn,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the laws and ordinances of Yeadon Borough.
and the laws and ordinances of Yeadon Borough.
I further solemnly swear or affirm
I furthermore solemnly swear or affirm
that I will discharge the duties
that I will discharge the duties
of police officer
of police officer
without regard to
without regard to
age,
age,
race,
race,
creed,
creed,
disability,
disability,
national origin,
national origin,
or sexual orientation,
or sexual orientation,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Now we have Justin O'Donnell. Probably that's one of the better parts of being mayor, sir. Come forward with your families. Mr. O'Donnell, repeat after me. I, Justin O'Donnell,
I, Justin O'Donnell,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the laws and ordinances of Yeadon Borough.
and the laws and orders of the citizens of Yeadon Borough.
I further solemnly swear
I further solemnly swear
that I will discharge the duties of police officer
that that I will discharge the duties of a police officer
without regard to
without regard to
race,
race,
creed,
creed,
disability,
disability,
national origin,
national origin,
or sexual orientation.
or sexual orientation.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Officer, you're going to have to move the pronunciation again. So come forward and your family. He's going to hold you right. Okay, Dalton Maneason, repeat after me. I, Dalton Maneason,
I, Dalton Maneason,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the laws and ordinances of Yeadon Borough.
and the laws and ordinances of Yeadon Borough.
I further solemnly swear or affirm,
I further solemnly swear or affirm
that I will discharge the duties
that I will discharge the duties
of police officer
of police officer
without regard to
without regard to
age,
age,
race,
race,
creed,
creed,
disability,
disability,
national origin,
national origin,
or sexual orientation.
or sexual orientation.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. This time we'll have Officer Nicholas Tokenis come forward to be sworn in as Sergeant.
You're good. Here, help me out.
And we'll ask Officer Tokenis to repeat after me. I, Nicholas Tokenis,
I, Nicholas Togenitz,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the laws and ordinances of Yeadon Borough.
and the laws and ordinances of Yeadon Borough.
I further solemnly swear or affirm
I further solemnly swear or affirm
that I will discharge the duties
that I will discharge the duties
of Sergeant of Police
of Sergeant of Police
without regard to
without regard to
age,
age,
race,
race,
creed,
creed,
disability,
disability,
national origin,
national origin,
or sexual orientation.
or sexual orientation.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to congratulate you, your relatives, and if any of the, oh yes, and we'll, you can give the badges out, yeah. If any of the councilors want to add any comments, I guess I'm maybe out of place, if you want to say something.
Congratulations, officer.
Yes, congratulations. At this time, I would like to make an amendment to item number 9, the President's report, and move it up to be 3A. May I have a motion? May I get a second?
Who made the motion? Okay, who second? Who made the motion? Thank you. Who second? Who second?
Can I get a second? May I get a second to move the president's report up?
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Good to see you, Brody.
Everybody take care.
You too.
Detective Ingram. Good to see you.
I'm ready for your donation.
At this time, I would like to state that I appreciate the confidence of council members who,
The motion failed. There was no second.
okay. We're not, that failed, so I'm just gonna make a statement, I won't move my report up. I'd just like to say, I appreciate the confidence of council, who voted for me to be president. I have a different management style. I will work entirely with council and simply ask that you allow me to become acclimated
Can you
to the new
speak in the
seat.
mic?
Yes. I have a different management style. I will work with the entire council. I simply ask that you give me a little time to become acclimated to my new seat. You will see changes within the next month. I have always given my personal number to residents. You still have my number. If you do not have my number, I will give it to you. It would be my pleasure for you to call me with any concerns that you have. Thank you.
Is that your report? No.
No, it's just a statement.
Just a statement as the new president. At this time, we will have citizens forum. Liz Aklovich, would you come up to the podium, please?
It would have been appropriate to tell the community that you were going to be swearing in police officers tonight. The community was not informed of this. We're very pleased, but we would have liked to have been told. The Public Works Superintendent and the Recreation Director have been asking to start up the Shade Tree Commission for months. With every summer hotter than the last, this can't wait. Why is this not on tonight's agenda? On Saturday, May 20th, under the guise of a community event, Councilor Jones Waters hosted a family reunion. She did not obtain a permit for the use of the park. The attendees were not Yeadon residents. She did not pay the $150 permit fee. She violated multiple park rules, including allowing vehicles to drive in the park and exceeding the maximum group size of 15. A large quantity of trash was left at the park for our Public Works Department to clean up. What fines and sanctions are being placed on Councilor Jones Waters for this egregious abuse of her position? We residents expect that she will be fined far more than the $150 permit amount with no return deposit since rules were violated. Additionally, Councilor Jones Waters should have all privileges to organize community events revoked for the remainder of her term. Yeadon Borough is not a cow to be milked by the extended Jones Waters family. Philadelphia residents are not entitled to free use of our only park. Finally, only in the delusional minds of Councilors Harris, Johnson, Brooks, or Jones-Waters can anyone think that it's legal to vote after a meeting has been adjourned. Carlette Brooks left the July 6th special meeting after voting for the AP list, as she always does. She left the building to go home. Later, after Sharon Councilor Harris was voted out of her position as president, there was a motion to adjourn. The motion was seconded. 3 more councilors left the building. There was no longer a quorum. The meeting was over. No vote that occurred after that point was legal. The community does not recognize Loren Johnson as president or Sharon Councilor Harris as vice president. We recognize only their corruption. Both are unfit to serve in any position on council.
Wait till she calls.
Okay, next, Anna.
Good evening, everyone. The first thing that I wanted to say was with regards to public safety. I know when we have these meetings, a lot of times there's some contentiousness. It's very nice to see something very good happen for the community, so I was very pleased with regards to the fact that we were actually able to install or initiate the 3.
You're not close enough to the mic.
Oh, I was saying that it's very good with regards to having the public safety and the 3 officers initiated. Can you hear me now? No?
Yeah, speak right directly into the mic.
Okay. Well, happy with regards to the public safety. The other thing that I wanted to say was with regards to the expenditures. We still need to be very careful with regards to expenditures. I know that we've had a change with regards to leadership, but we have to take a look with regards to the expenditures that we're having. The engineering expenses are still very high. With regards to the AP list right now, it's in excess of $20,000. I know it's a very reputable engineering firm, but we really do need to make sure that we are getting the best bang for our buck. If there are other firms out there that can do the same thing with regards to this, then we need to take a look with regards to that. The same thing went with regards to the web services with regards to Quadram. And the last thing that I would say is with regards to the vote, and this is technicality with regards to when we changed the president and the vice president. I think that vote, even if all of the other councilors were here, probably would have occurred anyway. But at one point in time, the solicitor actually did step out, and this was not for that vote, it was for something else. He had actually stepped out and called one of the councilors. If you're calling one councilor back, then you should be calling all of the councilors back. There's no reason just to make a phone call to one. You should be calling everybody. And when I talked with regards to him having call, it was at the last meeting when Carlette Brooks was not here. The solicitor actually got up out of his seat and made the phone call with regards to that. So if we're doing it for one, why not for all? Let's be fair. Let's do it for everybody, not just one counselor. And that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Clara Johnson.
Good evening to all.
Good evening.
I got to piggyback on the Jones Waters. She should not be given a community event in this September. She has abused her role as a public servant for her own personal benefit. For the rental of community park, which has rules of usage. No smoking, no more than 15 guests, parking only in the parking area. She needs to pay all of the fees and be fined and be prohibited from organizing any event in the community park. Therefore, there should be no further abuse of her public service. We should be focusing now, instead of community events for summer events, we should be focusing on what's coming forth, which is fall and winter. Halloween is right around the corner. Veterans Day is right around the corner. Christmas is right around the corner. As a matter of fact, she's over safety. Community events is under recreation. I don't know how it got out in a safety's hands. Hiring and firing. Thought that came in by counselors. I do understand, and I know we do need more enforcement in code department. But that guy been working already. Why was his name not on the agenda when you guys fired the last worker and now you're just hiring him? I understand that we have a personnel committee, but it's supposed to come to the floor.
Thank you. Rory Lewis.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Mayor, council, thank you for having me here. I'm here representing YEAA, Yeadon's Recreation.
Yes.
I've been here, living here for 30 years. I've been a member of their board for 15 and coaching and helping youth in this organization for the last 20 years. Over that 20 years, our funding from the borough has been, in my opinion, very poor. We represent these young men and young ladies of this community. My children grew up in this community. We need to give more back to our youth. Our youth are having problems because they have nowhere to go. They have no recreation center. We are, YEAA is Yeadon Recreation. Leon Howard is Yeadon Recreation. But our funding is poor. Our last fiscal, we did not receive our funding. It was held back. Reasons, no one knows.
Spend on lawyers.
I don't know the logistics of the money, but the state has to be giving us way more for recreation here for our children than $5,000 a year.
Yes.
I give up myself for 20 years free, nothing. My reward is helping these young men become great citizens, great pillars of our community when they come back. I have young men that come back now, they've taken over my job. I don't even coach in the league anymore. I mentor them on how to coach and how to nurture these young men so that we can keep the ball rolling. But we need funding. We can't do this the way we're doing it and expect to be really impacting our children the way we need to impact them. The village here is broken. The village is broken in half. We have ourselves, myself, the YEAA board, Mr. Howard out there fighting like crazy for these kids, giving them our every ounce of strength, blood, sweat, and tears. And we're not getting any help. We can't keep doing this on putting the cost on the parents and hoping we can make this thing work. We're a nonprofit. We should be being funded. What is Yeadon Recreation? Because I've been here 30 years and I don't even know what it is other than a name, because we don't have a rec center for 30 years. We don't have people other than Mr. Howard and myself and the board that are helping these young men out, that they can call, that are getting them into college, that are getting them tutoring, that are getting them mentorship. We need help from you. Monetary help from you. We're doing the job, but we can't do it the way we're doing it right now with this pennies here, pennies there, and then the slap in the face of all that we're doing, growing from 200 kids to 300 kids. We're servicing almost 500 kids a season, and we have no funding. We're reaching out to the whole community as a whole to fund us, to sponsor us. Whereas I don't know what's going on in Yeadon Recreation for say, But I know there's money there, and that money needs to go to Mr. Howard.
Instead of Talia's hot dogs.
And thank
A
you.
great man who's doing great things for this community and knows how to take care of the money.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hear you loud and clear. Thank you very
Madam
much.
President, can I make a respond to that in part?
Sure.
I understand that with this gentleman's request, I think it makes sense. Correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't we earmarked money for recreation center? And if we've earmarked money that we're pouring into a recreation center and doing feasibility studies, can't we divert some of that money for an entity that is doing the job now? And if we build a recreation center, who's going to man it? So you said that you're going to usher in some changes, and I would hope that this is one of the things you may want to look at.
Council President, I'm asking to be recognized.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. So in the time that I've served Yeadon Borough and lived in Yeadon Borough, YEAA has been the only organization that has been consistent and transparent with their mission and vision for the children of this community. When we implemented a grant application, they were the only organization that was able to provide us with financials that made sense, that showed us that Yeadon Borough was not funding their entire organization. The organization showed us how they fundraised on their own and how they had buy-in from the families to support the organization. They were not an organization that came here just to pull from Yeadon Borough. YEAA was also the only organization that was able to demonstrate that it is serving our children in Yeadon and not just children all across the community. While all children need to be served, our tax dollars need to be able to serve our children. That's what's important. Council President sat with us and discussed different areas where we could make up the $10,000 that we normally give to YEAA out of the existing budget. That was supposed to be on the agenda for several months, and it hasn't. I'm a little disappointed that now it's appearing to be a $5,000 request, and if we are going to consider it, since it's not on the printed agenda, I'm going to ask that for a motion to move up the allotment to YEAA directly after Citizens Forum.
I second.
Thank you.
Any questions, discussion?
I'm also making, if it passes, my motion will then be to increase the amount from $5,000 to $10,000 where it should be. We all know that there's inflation, rising costs of goods and services. There's no way that we should be taking from a community organization that's actually legitimate when we're earmarking random family reunion funding.
That is inappropriate and that is a lie.
It's the truth.
That is a lie.
Excuse me.
What's your
After
motion?
speaking with the finance director, he felt that we should give $5,000 at this point in time. There is money coming, we believe, from another facility where we will be able to give all that money to YEAA, and I believe that is going to happen.
May I be
That's not-
recognized? That's not entirely true.
Well,
do
we
not
won't know
have
until it
the-
happens.
We do not have control over the monies that's going into the hands of Restore. That is Restore's sole decision to make. We cannot assume that they're going to donate all of the monies to YEAA. We cannot assume
No
that.
one said
And it's
that.
not their responsibility. It's our responsibility.
That's right. No one
And
we
if
do
they do
have-
make
and
the
we do-
donation, that should be in addition.
Right, that should be an
It should be
addition.
an
But we cannot make that decision for
The
Restore.
finance director feels that $5,000.
The finance director is sitting right there. Finance director, we have $5,000 earmarked for some sort of community day for the end of this year. We don't need a community day. Can we use that money in addition to what is already allotted?
And also, if we take a look at the history of events sponsored by our state representatives. They all do a back-to-school drive around the same time. So there's no reason for us to have these superfluous events.
Excuse
This
me,
is
at this
nothing
time,
but
can
a
we please
political
have
ploy.
hear from the
It's
finance
nothing but a
director?
political ploy.
Excuse
It's
me,
not finance
director.
to
At
have
this
this
time,
director,
can I
please.
please hear from the finance director? Thank you, Mr. Nafis Nichols.
The recommendation that the finance department
Political
made
rivals.
was $5,000 for YEAA. And the reason that I said that is because if we were to do the $10,000, the borough would not be able to do any other recreational activities for the recreation department. Understanding YEAA does something outside their independent nonprofit organization. You wouldn't be able to have your Halloween event that you have. You wouldn't be able to have your Veterans Day event that you have. Whatever you want to do for the Christmas holiday, that would absorb all of the money that is there. Again, it is at your discretion, you vote, but I don't recommend that you give them a full $10,000 at this time. And I will state for the record that I understand and know, I've been in this field for a very long time. I've been on the nonprofit side for a very long time as well. When the decision was made about these grants, and Councilman Monroe, you're right, we put a grant process in place that worked. And I will publicly say YEA was the only organization that met all of the requirements. But when when I proposed a $2 million tax increase, which would have brought in $2 million additional dollars, the council did not want to increase taxes by 2 full mills. We went with 1 mill, and I was charged with cutting the additional $1 million. When we cut the additional $1 million, we reduced the funding for YEAA and other things in the budget. And at that time, everyone was in agreement. So I gotta say that for the record.
That's not for the record. Everyone wasn't in agreement.
Excuse me, you're not,
Everyone wasn't.
Well,
in
Councilman Monroe,
agreement.
you weren't present for that meeting.
But please reflect the accurate record, because that's not accurate.
When we voted for that tax increase, we did not realize what all was going to be cut. We said we were going to cut the newsletter. We said we were going to get rid of some of the other vendors. At no time do I ever remember YEAA coming up in that discussion. Everybody up there knows that I would never go for that.
It was, the conversation was cutting the grant proposals that came through, which they were included in the 3 grant proposals that came through.
So, Council President, can I ask some additional questions? Sure. My additional question is, we just talked about this Community Day event. Would it be legally, could we take money that was earmarked for this community event and maybe use it for other things? Because you're talking about recreation, where is the community event falling in our recreational budget? Like, why are we having another, we didn't even really agree on another event.
Well, first of all, that
wait,
was agreed.
hold on, you haven't been recognized yet.
Director,
Please hold on.
That was agreed upon.
Okay, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Finance director.
So the special events, it was nothing earmarked for a specific event. It was special events. That's what's listed in the budget at the discretion of the majority of council.
So, Council President, I'd like to be recognized as well.
Go ahead, please.
I think that it's very misleading to overlook the fact that we are trying to stick to one singular category of the budget when we know that there are always due tos, due froms, and we can move money around in this budget because we have blown through our legal budget, we have blown through the professional services budget. We just engaged a webmaster.
$57,000.
$57,000 for the year and gave them a $26,000 down payment when we had the opportunity to cancel that contract and find something more reasonable. We are spending 40% more for engineering services. So when we start talking about making cuts to our youth and we are not making cuts anywhere else, that is very misleading. So if we needed to come up with monies from other places to replace, how about we start making cuts to professional services? How about we start making cuts to our legal team? How about we start there? How about we petition these vendors to give back to our community?
right.
How about
Come on.
those things? Not just
Right.
taking away from the youth.
Everybody wanna come and
The
get.
only organization that is actually performing services for our youth. That is unfair, uncalled for, and they deserve at least the $10,000 they are going to receive,
Well,
and whatever anyone else is
Thank you
going
for
to
your
give.
comment. At this time, I believe the finance director is stating what we should be doing. I think we should give the $5,000 immediately to YEAA, and I think at a later date, we need to sit down with the finance director and find out where we can get other monies to give to
And
YEAA.
respectfully, again, Madam President, I've offered a lot of recommendations that weren't followed for us to stick solely to the budget, which we haven't done throughout the year.
Yes.
So we're in the middle of the vote to move up YEAA.
It's been moving.
Councilor
Councilor
Monroe,
Monroe.
And Council.
roll call seconded.
Motion?
Motion has been made and seconded.
It has been moved and seconded. All in favor?
We're asking for a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, please.
President Johnson.
No.
We're asking to move it up in the agenda. Do you know that that's what we're asking? This isn't the vote for the
No need to move
payment.
it up in the agenda.
Okay.
I have a comment I'm going to make on the president's report, but you didn't want me to make my president's
So
report.
is this vindictive? Is this retaliatory?
No, it can wait.
There's a motion on the floor. Vice President Harris. She's no longer on the call.
Forget her, move on.
Just give them the money.
We have to make sure the money is there.
The money is there.
Give them the money. What are you?
Where are we going?
Councilor Jones Waters, please.
And this is to move it up?
Move it up.
Yes.
Councilor Roquel, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilor Brooks is absent. Councilman Monroe, please.
Yes.
Thank you. And Councilor Dean.
Yes.
The motion has passed to move, to amend the agenda, to move up the conversation about the YEAA. Madam President?
Yes.
We did the vote. The vote is 4 to 1.
No.
Are there
Wait,
any
just
citizens
a second,
still
just
wishing,
a
you have a
second.
stack there. I'm sure there are other citizens who are wishing to
We do
speak.
have one other person. Before we do that, let me get to this last person for public comment. Melita Reagan.
Good evening. My name is
Hello.
Melita Reagan. I am the president of the Home and School at Penwood High School, which covers the 9th grade academy on Cypress, as well as the Green Ave campus. To be quite frank, our youth are in crisis.
Yes, they are.
This past school year at the Green Avenue campus alone, we had over 100 calls for service for the police, and we only have 170 days of school. That's a problem. I've been working since last fall to come up with solutions to help our kids make better decisions, most of which require money that we do not have. After advocating at the county level, David Irizarry, the head of Juvenile Detention and Rehabilitation Services, has offered to launch a pilot program fully funded by the county in our area high schools that will help at-risk youth get the programs, the tools, the resources they need to make better decisions and to reduce the number of violent incidences we have in our school. Our superintendent turned that program down, saying that there were too many unknown variables. Yes, it's a pilot program. You launch it, you see what works and what doesn't work, and then you readjust. Their only solution is to have a school resource officer in the building, a Lansdowne police officer. It won't be really successful if we're not addressing the root cause. This school year alone, there has been plenty of drugs and weapons in our building. Over spring break, we tragically lost one of our students at the hand of another student. And last month, one of our students stabbed her mother to death in Darby. And I just wonder what those outcomes would have been had our children had the resources and the programs and the tools that they need to make better decisions and to get the help that they need. I am going to all of our area boroughs in our school district to speak to community leaders and ask that they meet with David Irizarry to learn more about the program. And then if you think it's a good idea, write a letter of support to our superintendent so that we can get our children the help that they need. I can be contacted, my information is on the form, put you in touch with Mr. Irizarry so that we can help our children. That school is a powder keg. And I'm terrified of what it's going to look like in the fall when our kids and our teachers and staff return. So please help us help our children.
Thank you so much.
Council President, I'm asking to be recognized. I'm asking to be recognized.
Madam Councilor, can I ask a question?
Well, I just asked to be recognized.
No, she's the council, I'm the borough manager. You can address it.
So we don't have access to the forms. Our email addresses are on the borough website. If you could email the contact information directly to us, it won't get to us any other way.
I have right to know the forms and they destroy them, so just wanted to let you know that. It's a public record, so they should keep them in a folder somewhere, and they don't. So I just want to let you know.
Can you guys get the information to the people who you know will read it?
Sorry, I'm not speaking for Melina, but I just wanted to let you know that they destroy the records.
Okay. I'm sorry about that, but thank you.
Madam
And
President.
is there
Thank you
any
very much for
is there
that.
any opportunity to communicate with Dr. Becoats about this as well? Are there any?
You can try, but he seems like his mind is made up and he only responds to pressure and bad press.
Okay, no problem.
What is the name of the program? Excuse me, what is the name of the program?
They're right now they're referring it to.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
They're referring it to the pilot prevention program.
Pilot
Right now,
prevention
They don't
program.
have the official name, but they want to launch it after the first marking period, so sometime after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Madam President.
Yes.
I'd like to have as a secretary clarification on the amended motion to move up the YEA. It was 4-1, but I'm curious, is moving up the suggestion that we fund the YEAA at $5,000? Was that motion accepted or rejected?
Right now, it's my understanding that it's been moved up and it is still the $5,000. If they want to raise it to 10, that would require another motion now.
So in that motion, Mr. Solicitor, I'm asking is, they are being appropriated $5,000 at this time.
Right.
No, not with that motion. No, the motion that we voted on was just to move it up. So now I'd like to entertain a motion to change the amount that we are going to give to YEAA from $5,000 to $10,000.
Second. Come on now.
So the motion has been moved and seconded.
Stop writing, pay attention.
Any questions? I would like to say the director is stating that we need to leave it at $5,000 for right now. I think we need to listen to our finance director. He's the one that works on the finances.
There's a motion on the floor to increase, to appropriate $10,000 to the YEAA. The motion has been made and has been seconded. Madam President, we'd like to do the vote by name, starting with you, Madam President.
Excuse me one second, Mr.
Excuse me, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Excuse me one second, Mr. Dodson. I just want to clarify with our solicitor, by taking this vote to change the amount, do we need to then take another vote to allot the amount, or is this the final vote? I don't want there to be any confusion. Because I can amend the motion now to get it off. So I'd like to amend the motion that if we raise it, that we allot it.
Second.
That if we raise it, we what?
That we raise and allot, so we don't have to vote twice.
Second.
All right.
It's 2 seconds. Is that two motions?
No,
No.
it's an amended motion.
Amended.
It's an amended existing motion, so you can just take the vote now.
Okay, thank you. President Johnson.
No.
President, she's not here. Councilor Waters, please.
Yes.
Councilor Roca.
Yes.
Councilor Brooks, she's absent. Councilor Monroe
Yes.
and Councilor Bloom.
Yes.
The motion passed.
Thank you very much. I have to
You're welcome. Thank you for what you do for our young people. Thank you.
At this time, we'll do finance reports. A, consideration of accounts payable list for July.
At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to remove Sharon Council Harris as Vice President.
Second.
And Talia too.
The motion was made by
Yes, I made the motion to remove Sharon Council Harris as President, as Vice President, and seconded by Councilor Beatty.
There's a motion on the floor.
Are you adjourning the meeting? You don't want to adjourn in the meeting? You don't want to pay the bills? You don't want to pay the bills? You don't want to pay the bills? The new council president doesn't want to pay the bills? You don't want to pay the bills? Oh, didn't you talk about the bills? I thought you was on the phone talking about she needed to go. Now you're running out. Look at you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the meeting has been adjourned.